On Friday, President Yanukovych and the opposition signed an agreement, also supported by the whole European Union, and I pay tribute to my French, Polish and German colleagues for their efforts to bring this about. But events moved rapidly after that, including the departure of President Yanukovych from Kiev and the removal of guards from government buildings. On Saturday, the Ukrainian Parliament, the Rada, voted to restore the 2004 constitution, to release Yulia Tymoshenko, and to impeach the president. He has said he will not step down, but it is clear that his authority is no longer widely accepted. A number of members of the previous government have been dismissed and appointments made in a new unity government. Rada Speaker Turchinov has been appointed acting president until early elections on the 25th of May. Ukraine now has a pressing need for constitutional reform, improvements to its political culture, free elections, an end to pervasive corruption, and the building of a stable political structure. We look to the new government to create the conditions for such change in a spirit of reconciliation while ensuring accountability for human rights violations. For our part, the international community must work with the new government to discourage further violence and agree international financial support. Ukraine's financial situation is very serious, and without outside assistance may not be sustainable. An economic crisis in Ukraine would be a grave threat to the country's stability and have damaging wider consequences. I discussed this work with the German and Polish foreign ministers over the weekend, and I spoke to Foreign Minister Lavrov of Russia earlier this afternoon. The Prime Minister has spoken to President Putin, Chancellor Merkel and Prime Minister Tusk, and the Chancellor discussed Ukraine with G20 finance ministers in Australia. Later today I will go to Washington to discuss this and other issues with Secretary Kerry. While in Washington, I will hold talks with the International Monetary Fund, which is best placed to provide the financial support and technical advice to Ukraine. Such support could be provided quickly once requested by the new government. It requires a stable and legitimate government to be in place and a commitment to the reforms necessary to produce economic stability. International financial support cannot be provided without conditions and clarity that it will be put to proper use. Our fundamental interest is democracy, human rights, and the rule of law in Ukraine. This is not about a choice for Ukraine between Russia and the EU. It is about setting the country on a democratic path for the future. We want the people of Ukraine to be free to determine their own future.